Again, from the fields down below in the mist, there came the angry cry of a jay, followed by the sharp yelping bark of a fox. Then those two rabbits lost their heads completely. They did the most foolish thing that they could have done. They rushed into their short new tunnel and hid themselves at the top end of it, under Mr. Toad's kitchen floor. Mr. Toad was coming up Bullbanks, and he was in the very worst of tempers. First, he had been upset by breaking the plate. It was his own fault, but it was a china plate, the last of the dinner service, that had belonged to his grandmother, old Vixen Toad. Then the midges had been very bad, and he had failed to catch a hen pheasant on her nest, and it had contained only 5 eggs, 2 of them addled. Mr. Toad had had an unsatisfactory night. As usual, when out of humor, he determined to move house. First, he tried the pollard willow, but it was damp, and the otis had left a dead fish near it. Mr. Toad likes nobody's living but his own. He made his way up the hill. His temper was not improved by noticing unmistakable marks of badger. No one else grabs up the mouse so wantonly as Tommy Brook. Mr. Toad slapped his stick upon the earth and fumed. He guessed where Tommy Brook had gone to. He was further annoyed by the jay bird, which followed him persistently. It flew from tree to tree and scolded, warning every rabbit within hearing that either a cat or a fox was coming up the plantation. Once, when it flew screaming over his head, Mr. Toad snapped at it and barked. He approached his house very carefully with a large rusty key. He sniffed, and his whiskers bristled. The house was locked up, but Mr. Toad had his doubts whether it was empty. He turned the rusty key in the lock. The rabbits below could hear it. Mr. Toad opened the door cautiously and went in. The sight that met Mr. Toad's eyes in Mr. Toad's kitchen made Mr. Toad furious. There was Mr. Toad's chair, and Mr. Toad's pie dish, and his knife and fork, and mustard and salt cellar, and his tablecloth that he had left folded up in the dresser, all set out for supper or breakfast, without doubt for that odious Tommy Brook. There was a smell of fresh earth and dirty badger, which fortunately overpowered all smell of rabbit.